Hello, everybody, and welcome to. Sorry. Welcome to Toku Portal Podcast. I am Ryan. With me is.
Kid.
Uh, and today we're talking about Kamen Rider Zi-O, Episode 4. Uh, I wasn't here last week, but to give a brief summary of my thoughts for last week's episode, uh, I don't know. I'm enjoying this show, but I'm becoming more aware of just how little the veteran riders are actually like contributing, which is weird because they're also like the crux of the plot. But I get it. It's like it's the new writers show. It's not their show.
I kind of said like the exact opposite last time. Is that I actually like that the writers, even though it's an anniversary series, they're getting their own plot, and especially in this episode when we see more of the minor characters' plot backstory as well. So I kind of like that we're not just sticking to your legend rider forms. Have fun.
Yeah, they're getting more than nothing, which I do like. It's just so Emu is Emu in this episode, and that's great. Why is Brave even here though? So picking up where we left off, Xaid kicks the new riders' asses, and it's kind of awesome. It's short lived though. Uh, you don't have anything to say about that?
Uh, well, other than seeing how agile and awesome X8 is, not really, but I do like that we actually haven't a cop out. There being, multiple fights against the same monster. A, the time jackers can pretty much revive them, so to speak, by putting the watch back in the victim or whatever. They're not really victims, contracted person. Uh, and then B, the damn monster can't be defeated unless you use the rider's power. So it's actually decent. It's not just like, oh, the monster got away. We're gonna have to fight him later in the episode.
Right. And it paints an interesting narrative. When they defeated him, Emu was able to turn back into Xaid. But then when the Time Jacker revived another Xaid, Emu lost his rider powers again and his memory of being a rider. But he still remembered the other things because he had learned those separately, which is there's a patient in need. We'll get more on that later, though. Let's talk about Gaze and Suguyomi a bit and what they're even doing here. They came back in time to stop Sugo, or however you pronounce his name, from becoming the Demon King. And now they're kind of confused on how they need to tackle this because the person they're talking to is not evil.
It's an interesting dynamic for sure. And I think really the main reason is because his voice is totally different. And they probably haven't seen Omazio's face. So
Well, 50
even though,
years
even
in
though
the
there's a
future,
statue, I don't think your voice would change that much. Like Sogo's already 17 or 18, and it sounds like some powerful dude with like a super deep voice and
he
stuff. So
he could. I feel like it's possible to develop a deeper voice over time just from getting old. Also, his face wouldn't matter.
uh, yeah, I guess. But the fact that they haven't seen it leaves some doubt. And plus, his personality is a total 180. So
Well,
it's just interesting how they deal with it personally. Like Gaze tries to just focus on the present, and Tsukiyomi's just focusing on Sogo's behavior. But the way Sogo addresses it later is really awesome.
I can see the idea of like, oh, the Demon King is actually someone else using Zi-O's name, but I hope they don't go that route. You paint the main hero as the future villain. Let's explore that.
Oh, for sure.
Because like, what if Waz is actually like Omazio and he's just building Sugo up for the power so he can steal it later? Like, that'd actually be kind of boring. In this case, at least. There are plot lines where that would be really cool, but in this one, I'm not sure. But execution would make me change my mind. Ooh. I do like, though, that when Sugo is talking about, I can't just ignore someone in need, haven't you ever wanted to protect someone? And they're in this awkward situation of, yeah, we have wanted to protect people before. You kill them.
That was so good. Because it just totally came out of nowhere. Well, I mean, they hinted at it last episode, but
Yeah.
not really focusing on the victim at that moment. Kind of just getting back to their dynamic story, whatever.
I love Emu's scene where he confronts Lita, the another X-Aid character. And he just does what he would do. He would try to play to him of, you don't need to do this. You should be by your child's side in their time of need. It's it's definitely something Emu would do, and he was very in character, which I like. It shows that the writer understands the previous writers. Probably getting a lot of like advice from the other writers. Words, but
Well, to
still,
be fair, in this case, he doesn't need it because he wrote, what is it, Go
Go Rider.
Rider?
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how that works. And
but yeah, even in Go Rider, he did a great job like handling those characters' personalities for who they
oh yeah,
are.
true, true.
Uh, so actually, yeah, I expect to just see more of this. And Lita's motivation, while like pretty much made clear to us early on, it's interesting that he's aware and in control of himself. Where the another build just kind of felt like another monster of the week with a bit more intelligence to him. He never went back into his human form willingly. He never showed any unique aspects other than throwing basketballs as an attack. Here, Lita-san is like fully conscious of what he's doing, and I wonder if that's more of a person thing or if that's more of a time jacker thing because these people were selected by different time jackers.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. But also, I've been watching a lot of Gato recently, and these time jackers just straight up feel like horrors. I wonder if they're even human,
Probably not.
and they just creep up on people and try to make contracts with them.
Also,
I mean, this pick isn't as creepy as Uru, but definitely there.
also, they're trying to like create a new king that isn't Omazio, right? That seems to be their goal.
Yep.
So, why are they not even trying to stop Sogo while he's effectively at his weakest?
I mean, you
Or
could
or
always.
can they not actually fight themselves and this is really the only way they can attempt to do that maybe?
Well, Uru does show up in the mech and
Yeah, we get
attacks.
a short-lived mech fight, and it doesn't go well for him at all. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe they just can't fight.
Or the other king is Omazio,
No, they're
and
trying to create a new king with the Another Riders.
yeah, I know, but just like how you said, was could be trying to power up Sogo so he could steal the powers. Maybe they're trying to do like the same thing.
Oh,
That's just a theory, though. This is confusing as hell.
yeah, maybe they are like building up the Another Riders for themselves. Uh, their king would more actually be like a figure, not a figurehead, just like, but still someone under their control. Like, oh yeah, he's the strongest and he works for us. Uh, yeah, there's. I just don't have much to say scene by scene, which is why I'm just kind of tackling bits and pieces. Gaze goes back in time to try and defeat the Nether Rider in the past, but you can't do that without that like Rider style power. So that does create a good scenario of they can't just keep going to the past to defeat the monster right away. They actually have to like earn the powers first. If they do a Ghost and Drive episode though, how will that be handled?
I just hope they bring back Chase again.
Well, anything's possible with the time traveling. Although if they keep sticking to like only a few veteran actors returning, then will Chase's actor even return?
Well, if they can't get Shinosuke's, like maybe they could just use secondary writers for some series. I don't know. Just a thought. Like in Kabuto or whatever, if we don't get Tendo, we might get Kagami. Just a
Oh,
thought.
I could see that happening because he
I mean,
was,
Kagami has been voicing the video games, so
and he's pretty much like as much the main character as Kabuto is. Oh, uh, so Sogo chases the riders and Sogo jumps in the pass as well when he grabs X8's rider watch. And to be honest, I am iffy on his X8 form. Like, okay, for the most part, it's fine. It's his own style mixed with X8. The gash at shoulder pads are a little weird. The part that I truly have a problem with is the arms. What's with those?
uh, it just felt like being creative, I guess. Incorporating the weapons
Uh,
seems to be a thing,
mm.
except for maybe Ghost and Drive form.
I do like seeing Xaid try to fight another Xaid. I hope they keep going with that of giving the actual rider a chance to defeat their doppelganger first before their powers are taken away. Because mirror matches can be good if they're done well, and this was a pretty good execution of it. And so I want to see some more good executions of it. This series has the perfect opportunity to keep providing that justified. Another thing I hope they keep doing is Sogo messing up the finishers. Uh, just when it does the split screen for the XA style finisher and he like fourth wall breaks it and then just completely botches it.
Yeah, that's that was funny. Like I had to watch that twice. I was like, whoa, 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 what? He just smacked the katakana out the screen and used it as the actual finisher. That was pretty funny. And really, all of the like 1.5, 2.5, 3.5s are pretty damn funny.
I haven't seen those yet. Also, Sogo just messing up the catchphrases because he doesn't know them and like he's not that character. It's it's kind of being done in place of his own catchphrase, which is I don't know how much they can keep doing that because one things writers have is their own catchphrase. But
Well, he
it
does have his
what is it?
like, I think it's going to work out or something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's
Kind of
pretty
like
bland, but
decades. I get the gist of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Yeah, it's just it's like a nice little gag of like he's not that character. He doesn't know how to do what they do, and it throws in his own unique aspect of it. Yeah, he's copying that rider, but he isn't that rider. He's still himself, and so it creates this interesting parallel. We could have gotten like a really cool just XA style finisher, and we all would have been happy with that. But it would have been Xade, and this guy isn't Xade. He's Zi-O, and so he does his own thing, which is almost a parody of the Xade finisher. Nothing? Okay.
Well, I did like the little bit of bike action we got from Gaze when he went to the past and fought
Oh, yeah.
another exit.
That was
But
nice.
I'm just hoping they stick to it because I mean, Bill dropped the bike stuff like what episode 5 or 6, so
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
I also enjoyed when Sogo went to the past, or no, maybe Gaze. Yeah, when Gaze went to the past, I think. Basically, he saw like Emu doing his level up sequence, and you could see it like in world rather than in the anime style like flashing background. It was just really cool to see that in universe, even if it was like a shot from the distance there. And honestly, with the way future or rather present Xaid attacked them before, I thought that he was going to try and shoot the time machine down for a second.
Those things seem pretty sturdy. So, also I like that we can finally see how these mechs scale compared to the Sentai mechs.
Which
So these
is
are
they
basically
don't.
like, yeah, these are basically like 2.5 stories tall,
This
not
is
the size of freaking skyscrapers.
baby's first mech.
Yeah.
Uh, Still closer to a Sentai mech than what Den-O had, with the weird train things. Uh, and then they defeat another Xaid, and Sogo uses his time travel knowledge to say, hey, transfer your son to this hospital where they have a surgeon who can fix him before it gets too bad. And why was Brave in this episode again? Like, physically. Why was he here? because they could have done that without him,
Just to be a jerk
I guess.
as old hero.
Like, I appreciate seeing the veteran character return, uh, and I do feel like Emu himself got used really well in this episode, but Brave didn't really contribute much other than a little exposition about Emu. Uh, and if you don't know Vashi's thoughts on it, like he thought that the whole hiding Emu's face thing was really dumb, especially since X8 was 2 years ago.
Well, this one is actually a bit different because I mean, I was keep seeing the Sentai episode this week, and you see Forze, but you also see Fies as well for next week.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a bit later. Uh,
Okay.
but first, let's talk about that thing we brought up earlier, which was how Sogo handles the idea that he could become an evil demon king, which is he tells them, if you truly think I'm going down that evil route, stop me, end me if you need to. And that's very interesting because it shows his noble character that he doesn't want to become that evil demon king. So he would want to be stopped in theory. But then you know that if it came time around for that to happen, he would not be so accepting of that reality.
You mean like if he was already becoming evil?
Like, even if he was still a good person, but he was making the decisions that would for sure lead him down that path and they were going to try and stop him, he it's one thing to say you're okay with something, but it's another thing to actually be okay with it when it's happening. And I like this because it plays into his naivete, where he keeps saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a king someday." Or it's like, yeah, you sound like you're 10 years old. You sound like you're 8 years old, actually, when you say that. And it's kind of like that, where, yeah, you say you're okay with it now, but how okay with it would you actually be?
Yeah, it could go two ways. It could either you could either be right, and he's just being a silly, immature kid, or he has like a really tragic past. I mean, obviously his parents aren't around, so that he might have been like really sincere there, but I don't know. I'll
I
just have to wait.
definitely feel they need to explore this again in the future. Not the
Oh
near
yeah,
future either. I'm talking like the 30s.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Alright, let's talk about the next episode preview a bit. They're combining Forze and Fies together, and it sounds like a super weird combination at first because those two characters have nothing in common. But then I thought about it, and there's one connecting thread that I can see between them. Fies is a lone wolf character with no friends, and Forze is the rider who will befriend everyone. So he's not going to accept that Fies doesn't have friends. And that's the only way I can see them combining the two in together.
Yeah, or sadly, it could just be that they didn't get Force's actor long enough, so they have to just do a one-parter,
Oh, I
and then
don't
they're
expect a
gonna.
one-parter.
Well, you see the Forze armor.
Yeah, but you don't see the Fies one.
No, exactly. That's why I'm saying they do a one-parter for Forze, and they kind of just start off on the Fies this episode. I don't know.
Oh,
We'll
you're
have to see.
thinking that like Forze is getting one part that
Like
Fies
half an
appears in,
episode.
at the end to set up his part? I don't
Yeah,
think
could
so.
be.
I think that they
I might
are
be right.
just well, like maybe they will both like actually get one episode for their another rider characters, but I think that it's still going to be like a two-episode plot line for the two of them. And what I expect to happen is I expect Gaze to get the Fies watch.
That would look very nice.
It would not only is it more his style, both thematically and aesthetically, it is like it would make sense to because he can already grab the main rider watches to split the two riders here between the two riders. Zi-O gets Forze because that fits him more. Give the lone wolf to the stoic character.
True. Oh yeah, that's another reason why was in this episode, just so gays could say, "Man, that guy's a jerk," and Emu says, "Yeah, you're kind of similar."
Emu is a very good judge of character. Honestly, I would forgive it a little bit if Gaze got a Brave watch, but we didn't get that either, which is disappointing
Nope.
because we know that secondary rider watches are a thing. I was kind of excited to see more of those, and that was one of the ones that I was excited to see.
They're probably only gonna get used for finishers, sadly.
Uh,
Just like crosses.
oh, that's right. He didn't even transform with it, did he?
Nope.
Oh, well, there goes that dream. I'm just gonna give up on Kamen Rider Knight right now.
No, no, no. They
Yeah.
have to meet. That would be Zero's dream. Is for Little Ren to meet Big Ren.
Uh, I mean, even if the character's in, we're not gonna get like a knight armor.
Oh, yeah, probably not.
But yeah. So, final thoughts on this episode. I enjoyed this two-parter a lot. Emu was great. It's just dawning on me that like, hey, these riders aren't going to be doing a whole lot of riding themselves. Like, they're mostly just going to be there as their characters. Which, going in expecting that, I'll be okay with it going forward. But right now, it's a little disappointing to have that realization. But it makes sense. Like, if their stories are done and over with, this is about the new characters saving those stories or destroying them, where that part is still unclear.
Well, I guess inheriting them because yeah, all the writers are
You know what?
getting
Waz
raised.
is the best character on this show. I'm gonna say it.
uh, yeah, I would have to agree.
I at first I thought, oh, they're not gonna do like the whole he gives a speech about Zi-O every episode, but now I want that. I want that for every. I want that.
And nobody likes him. But yeah, this episode is pretty great. I do like seeing more sides of Ren. I mean, sorry, what can I? Now I called him Ren. Thanks, Zero.
Was Ren calling him
Yeah.
Zi-O calling
No,
him Ren a bunch last week?
no, he called him Little Ren, but uh, yeah, I like Gaze. He's a lot of fun in those extra clip shows, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this Force A5's thing plays out. Especially if Fi's stories getting erased, that means probably a lot of people are gonna not die.
Does that count? The the rules are unclear with the time travel thing. Like, who's dead is a very broad but relevant question.
Well, I mean, it seems like we're saving the basketball player and we're saving that
Yeah, we're saving the Another Rider
kid.
characters, but what about those side characters from those series? What about Hajime?
Who knows?
Alright. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back next week with Lupin Ranger versus Pod Ranger. It's shaping up to be a really good episode. And next Wednesday for more Kamen Rider Zi-O. I really like Fies. He's probably my favorite Rider character, so I am looking forward to seeing what they go with it. See you next time.
Thanks for listening.